cut for men. So I'm going to be working with diagonal back sections, keeping pretty much all of this corner right around the front. And then we're really going to be breaking into it, creating a beautiful layered shape. So here we go. Are you ready, Robert?
All set.
Okay. Here we go. Lori Adams, are you ready over there?
I am so ready.
Okay, everyone is so ready for this.
So ready.
Okay. It was when?
2019.
2019. Okay, so let's choose our elevations right now. Okay, if you guys have any questions about the cut, please let me know. We're going to have a really nice fringy
Oh wait, it
bangs.
says no sound.
No sound? Uh-oh, hang on.
Question mark.
Okay,
Is there no sound?
I don't know.
Unmute your
Do
phone.
we not have any sound? Unmute my phone.
Can you hear now?
Can you hear us now? There's Robert. Hello.
Oh, sounds good.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry about that.
Okay, well you might want to reset.
So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to say everything again. So we're going to be cutting Robert's hair off. Look at all this hair. So we're going to give him a really nice shaggy type of feeling, keeping a little bit of a corner in through the front and then coming in and carving in the opposite direction. He describes it like a Christmas tree or a Lisa Rinna for men. So here we go. Okay, Robert. Everyone is waiting.
Oh.
Look, the camera room. We've got so many people that have been waiting for this.
We're all waiting.
Okay. Here we go. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to be using almost a closed stroke with my razor. I'm not going to be doing a really wide open stroke because that takes a little bit too much weight out, especially right around the face, right where the hair is a little bit finer. So I'm going to come in, a little bit of a low elevation. Okay, here we go, Robert. A little bit of a closed stroke. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, this is so exciting. Everybody cheer.
I am honestly gobsmacked at the idea of you cutting your hair.
There we go. Yes.
Did anyone know this was happening?
Wait, stop. Yes.
Robert and I knew. Okay, so diagonal backs. I'm not going to come to a stationary guide. I'm going to be traveling with my guide. Otherwise, I'd develop way too much length in through the back area. So I'm going to be working and bringing my guide up and into my next section. So I can see my guide right here. I need to slide past my guide, drops out, and then working the line. Oh boy, this is exciting. Okay. And I'll probably remove a little bit of this length at the end. So we're just going to see where this ends up. Last time I cut Robert's hair off was a couple years ago, and we took you into like a really short pompadour style. And my guide is right here, sliding past. Nice small stroke. So I'm creating a really soft line, but it isn't very, it's not super thinned out. So if I were doing a bigger stroke or a more open stroke, I'll show you on a little bit longer hair. I could come in and like really take this and carve it out. But for him, that's going to be a little bit, not quite enough structure. So I'm using a little bit more of a closed stroke, and then we'll take a look at it once it's dry and make the determination of how much more hair we want to remove. Beautiful. If anybody has any questions, do not hesitate to ask.
Which texture do you prefer for this cut?
What texture? This could be done on almost any texture. Robert has a little bit of natural movement to his hair. You could use this. You could do this on curly hair as well. Ooh, did that feel good? Grab that whole thing. That was nice, Sana. Thank you. Okay, you can see my guide right under there. So texture for this, it would just be a head of hair that can handle a little bit of thinning on the ends. I wouldn't do this maybe on really, really fine hair. I don't know if that answers the question or not, but there we go. And behind the camera today is Ethan, slick back butter toast, or now he's in front of the camera. You're supposed to be behind.
I'm behind now.
Yeah, that's feeling good, Robert. I don't know. He's got a little bit of a mirror there. We just got done doing a show. I am up in Vancouver, BC. Just got done doing what's called a partner event, which we have some prospective salons that are here looking at Orbe, KMS, and Goldwell. And we'll be doing our show tomorrow. I'll be doing a cutting class, hands-on cutting class, with none other than Mr. Jacob Kahn. That's going to be fun. I'm showing a really cool little bob that's inspired by the 90s, doing a little undercut on it. and just a really shattered out perimeter. It's going to be really pretty.
How many years has he been growing out that hair?
Robert, how many years?
Since Christmas of 2019.
Ooh.
Christmas of 2019.
It just
So a
happened.
while.
It happened on accident. It was just COVID.
Oh, the
just made him
COVID
grow
hair.
his hair. Okay, and then this hair down at the bottom, I'm going to take it right to this point here. So I'm going to use that length that I've got, and then just creating my baseline. We'll see what I think of that at the end. Oh, Robert, I'm so excited. Okay. So not very often, you guys, do I do a full cut start to finish on Instagram. You know that. I'm more about those back pocket techniques, just kind of giving you guys little things you can use during the day. When you're faced with a certain situation in the salon, let's say the client's hair is too thick, which technique would you use? Or maybe you've got a really cool fringe you want to do and you're pulling out one of those different techniques. So, okay, how's that feeling, Robert? Can you see? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. This corner will have to come off. I can see that already. But, okay, moving on to the other side. So I'm going to be working still those diagonal backs. And Ethan, you're missing dinner, aren't you?
Something.
Okay, so what we might do is, well, I don't know. Maybe we can set that up so you could go to dinner. Because he's kind of stuck now.
I'm stuck.
You're stuck. Ooh, I like this, Robert.
It says, so all cut on 90 degrees, question mark?
Actually, it's almost at 45. So I'm taking my guide and I'm traveling with it, but each time I'm over-directing forward, and it is about 45 degrees. It isn't completely at 90. The top will be cut at 90. So I'm still wanting to keep some weight down underneath. Why can't I grab this section? Come here. Okay, so let's make sure we get it right because I really like this side over here. Right about there. Just kind of aim and go. And if it isn't exactly the same, well, we'll just texturize until it is. Okay, so following that, watching my guide drop out, taking that smaller stroke, not too large of a stroke or open stroke. The more open the stroke, meaning the bigger the swing of the blade, the more you will have texturized ends. If you go in with a very, very small stroke, you can almost cut a blunt line. Okay, so utilizing that traveling guide, so just dropping out my guide, only taking part of it, and then elevating that to that 45 degrees, small stroke.
They're asking, is that your own brand of razor?
Oh, yes, it is. This is my Angel Blade.
Funny
razor.
you ask.
Funny you ask. Funny you're gonna do. Ask. Yes, it is my own brand of razor from Angel Blades. And, excuse me, it comes with a pack of the plie razor blades. It's 160 US. And I love it. I love working with an open blade. I feel like it gives me a little bit more creativity than one that has a guard. And the key to working with, excuse me, that blade is that you do a peace sign, you turn your hand up, watch out, Robert. It was like, wah! Okay, right here, and then you have to lock down on that razor so that it's not flopping around. I always used to cut myself right there when I was working because I didn't lock down on the razor. So, and then you use these fingers to actually use your comb instead of like this. Once you do that, the blade is free to move. So, lock her down. All right. Continuing. Do you want us to turn, Ethan? Can you see
You can kind of see this is a good angle.
Is it?
It's a different angle, so.
Okay, and to wet this hair down a little bit more. Now, when you're working with the razor, you want to make sure you're keeping good tension on the hair. Once you lighten up on your tension, you start feeling the hair kind of pulling a little bit. So that's why when you're cutting, you want to stay usually within the first two knuckles of your hand. Any other questions, Ethan?
Not yet.
Okay. Just gonna keep going.
Someone did ask who cuts your hair because it looks so good and I want it.
My friend Zoe Boyson in Spokane, Washington. That's where I'm from. She's been one of my very dear friends for many, many years, and she cuts my hair. She actually was the first person to go through my apprenticeship training program in Spokane. I know. Oh, we're getting pretty even here, Robert.
Honestly, this is weird to see you with this length of hair because I've never known you with anything but long.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Robert's had all sorts of different hairs.
Swing back.
Yeah. Okay. Ethan's coming around. Just keeping that nice tension. We're backstage. Well, actually, we're in the model room for our show. And do you want to do a quick swing around? This is nighttime. And
The empty model room.
The empty model room, just mannequin heads.
Yep. Here's all of our friends over here.
We got our friends. Okay, continuing on here. Ethan, you are the best. Thank you. Do we have very many people on there watching this?
Yeah, there's about 100 right now.
Okay, well, I don't want to cut everybody off, so you're gonna have to stay.
That's fine. Seems to be you're moving through this cut pretty quick, Sana.
Okay, now did I say your handle?
You did.
Slick back butter toast.
Yes, it is.
He's a curly hair specialist out of not
Austin.
Austin, Texas. Yeah, so you guys definitely follow him. He's a great artist. And Hair Robert, my friend Robert right here, Goldwell international artist. He does beautiful, beautiful color work and beautiful cuts. And he's in Memphis.
And he's quite the character.
And he is, well, yeah, there is that. Robert is the character. Okay, let me see. Am I relatively even? How's it feeling, Robert?
Oh, man.
I think it might be a little bit longer on my right-hand side. Darn. Gonna have to fix that. I am.
Might be my head shape.
It might be your head shape. Yes. Okay, so just working on that perimeter now. Kind of coming in and just slicing into it. We don't want any blunt lines. And we want it to break just at that shoulder.
Robert, do you have a little bit of wave in your hair, or is it pretty straight?
I think there's a touch.
Yeah, it has wiggle in it when it's a certain
Wiggle.
It's got a wiggle.
I like that.
It's got a little wiggle. Wiggle it just a little bit. Ethan, do you do a lot of curly hair with razor, or do you stay away from razor with curly?
I don't do a lot of razor cutting, so I actually
Okay.
love to watch razor cuts because,
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely times when I can think of cases where I would like to do a razor cut, but most of the things that I do are not super like shaggy and textured and like
Yeah.
unfinished, so I don't get to use the razor a lot.
Yeah, I've always loved working with the razor. To me, it's a very creative tool.
Yes, I completely agree with you. That's why I've always loved to watch people cut with razors because it's very satisfying. And it leaves you very like artistic. Like I love how you're kind of watching the way that it's coming out and kind of tweaking it as you're going through the cut.
And you can see that it kind of opens up that movement that he has in his hair. Okay, that feels better. He's all happy.
Well, especially too, like when he's saying like he just has a little bit of wiggle. Like I feel like when you don't have a lot of movement in your hair, razor's great for kind of creating that
Razor gives you
movement.
wiggle.
For sure.
And my right hand side was just a touch longer than my left, so I'm just kind of removing just a little bit off those edges. Sorry, Robert, I keep getting that spot. I wonder if Mr. Dale Jinks is watching. He's the one that filmed us last time doing removing your hair. So, okay. I feel like I still have just a smidgy of length that isn't matching up for me. Okay, now before I move into the top area, because in the top I don't want to use, I don't want to get as much movement on the ends. He doesn't like his hair. You're okay if I razor cut it, just don't like really razor cut it. I want to come in and just carve a little bit of this hair out. So I created my shape coming down the hair. So now I'm going to come and go the opposite direction. So just carving out a few pieces that will help this separate. So I'm coming in the opposite direction, just removing a few of those pieces. This will give the Christmas tree that he likes.
Someone's asking if the hair has something in it other than water. Looks like a great grip.
Anything in it? No, we just put water in it.
Yep.
But many times I will use the Moist Repair from KMS, and it's a leave-in conditioner that has an aloe vera and vanilla base to it, and it gives a nice slip to the hair. That's what I would normally put in the hair for a razor cut. Going that opposite direction. We should get a little bit more movement out of that. Opposite side.
That's a good angle.
Ooh, you got it? Got the angle? Did I tap myself? It's so weird because you can just tap yourself with the razor accidentally and then you get a nice little cut yourself. So I'm coming back the opposite direction, so I have to be really careful not to hit myself. The other way is a lot easier.
So would you say for people who don't use razors right now, kind of the technique that you're doing would be like a deep point cut?
Or more of a carving. So if I were going to come in and remove this, I would take my scissor and I would carve on this underneath side. So short to long this way instead of the way that I did the original pattern, which was short to long from top to bottom. This is short to long, back to front, bottom to top. You can see I just tap myself right there.
Oh,
Tippy tap.
Just a tap.
Just a tap.
where's some super glue?
I know. Have you guys ever used that super glue for your cuts? Or nail glue? Here we can go either way. Okay. Look at all that hair on the floor, Robert.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Oh, hallelujah.
It's really good.
Were you over it, Robert?
He was over it, yes.
Done.
Yeah. I have to say though, you had some pretty good hair flips.
Yeah, he did. Oh, wait till you see this. Okay. So
This
I'm
is
going to
true.
Go ahead and
Still flippable.
it is still flippable. That's one of the categories that it has to be flippable.
Hashtag still
Must
flippable.
remain. Hashtag still flippable. Wait till we get that fringe in there. And just kind of wetting the stuff
Yeah, what are you
down.
thinking for the front, Sona?
I'm going to actually, probably, I call this finishing the horizontal plane. You guys look at how long that hair is.
Oh my god.
Whoa! Okay.
Good Lord.
So I'm going to split it down the center and then continue with my diagonal back sections and just kind of like even everything up so I know that I'm consistent. Then I'll move into the front and then the top. So let's get that guy out of there. And you wear your hair off to one side, don't you, Robert?
Where do you
Or does
flip
it
it?
just
used
flip
to part
anywhere?
right to left and kind of naturally, but since it's been pulled back for so long, I'm not sure. It
Okay, well then let's just,
hasn't been forward
I
at all.
don't know that it's going to matter too much, but I'm going to just go slightly off center with that.
That's about it.
Okay, that's about it. Okay, coming through the top, and I'm going to leave out the recession area and just jump behind it. And the reason for that is I just want to protect and safeguard the length. We should be fine because it is pretty long, but you know when you have that little little thing in your tummy just saying, oh, leave that out, don't cut that yet, obey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have that too. Yeah, you always know. Okay. So making sure that this elevation is high enough, because if I drop my elevation down low, we're going to start getting a kind of a bubble on top, and I want to make sure we have a nice light feeling to the top. So coming in, I can see my guide right behind. I'm going, whoops, there it goes, and I'll go short to long and match that up. Oh, Robert, it's going to be so good.
It's extremely liberating.
Yeah, I can imagine. You have had your hair pulled back quite some time now.
I'm telling you, I've been
Sometimes you just get to that point where you can't even handle it anymore and you just...
too much forehead, Lord.
So I'm just continuing those diagonal back sections, working with the traveling guide, over-directing forward just a little bit. When you over-direct forward, you're going to get a push to the back. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if I'm over-directing forward, it'll naturally fall back as I'm working. The exception to that, of course, is curly hair. Curly hair just does its own thing, right, Ethan? It's like,
Well, that's why watching you, it's funny because you're constantly checking, and I feel like honestly sometimes I don't check until afterwards because I'm like by the time you style it, it's so different that you can't even, you don't know what's going on. So
yep, this is true. Hi, Kara.
hi, Kara.
Are you not done?
We're not done. Yeah, we're live. We're live doing some fun stuff. Woohoo! And Robert's all happy.
I know you're gonna look fly on stage tomorrow, Robert.
Oh.
Oh.
There's that.
Oh.
Feel naked.
Right.
Okay, so just matching that up. Oh. Yes. Nice and shaggy. Okay, leaving that same area out in front. Coming through those diagonal back sections. My hand position changes. So on the other side, my hand was down, and now my hand has to be up, just because of the diagonal parting. So here we go. Sorry, Robert, I should probably change my blade about now.
It's fine.
It's okay? Not doing bad? Making sure my elevation is high enough. There we go. Right there, I can feel my guide more than see it drop out. Now I will have, because I'm pulling everything off of the top of the head, I will have an area of weight when I'm done, and I'll be going through the very top and actually taking that a little bit shorter. So I'll elevate that 90 degrees from the top of the head instead of from the side of the head. That little movement with the razor, not too large of a stroke. It's hard to get up high enough sometimes. Okay. I like you as Lisa Rinna.
I do love that description of this guy, the
It is
male
great.
Lisa Rinna.
Look at all that hair on the floor. Oh my gosh. You've got a ton of hair, Robert. I just feel like this is such an honor to be able to change somebody's look, to be trusted with that. I think what we do as artists, we don't give ourselves enough credit sometimes. People do trust us with literally their lives, especially with a razor. Yeah, it's a big honor. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Well, I don't disagree with his choice. I think if I were going from long to short like this, I would have you do it also.
Oh, would you?
I don't think I've ever grown my hair that long though, so this is about the longest I've ever gotten. This length here.
Oh, right here. Okay. I'm like, your hair doesn't look that long
No,
right now.
no, my hair is super short.
Okay, so let's come around to the front now because you still got those bangs.
Oh, that's the best part.
That's the best part, yes. Okay, so you can see right now kind of where I'm going with it. You can see the shape. So I'm going to leave it a little bit long because he likes to wear his hair in his face quite a bit. So let's see here, about nose length. Oh, you can see that.
Oh, wow.
And then just blending this right into those sides. If it needs to go any shorter, we can always do that. No more. Oh, yes. Okay, now when you're cutting on the top of the head with the razor, some people like to work up this way. I find for me it's an awkward position, so I like to flip my hand around and actually work a little bit differently. But everybody, you know, does it their own way. I'll show you my way. So I'm going to take just horizontal sections across the top, pull it up, and because I pulled everything out to the sides, I should have a pretty strong point right in the middle. And that's the weight that I'm going to remove. So we'll come across the top. Do we still have a lot of those people that were on?
Yeah, it's still about 100.
Okay, well, thanks for hanging with me, you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to take my razor, which I normally hold here, and I'm going to drop it down and flip it around. So now it faces up. So I just come in and work up with the razor. So instead of taking my hand and turning it this way and going that way, I just flip it around. So coming in, and there's that point, so just dropping it down and then coming back this way.
Again, being mindful of your fingers.
Yes, being mindful of my fingers. We always have to be mindful. Okay. Remember we talked about losing tension, so kind of have to re-grab partway through. I don't know, do you guys out there, do you guys use a razor very much? And do you use an open blade or do you use one with a guard? Either way is fine. To me, using a guard is a little bit more like cutting with texturizers, because you have, you know, kind of that guard on there. You have to take a little bit more time to get through the hair. Anybody answer? Does anybody use guarded razor, not guarded? No? Okay. I assume you all are using scissors then.
Someone said, I use a guard, 2 for guards.
Yeah. In many states, you have to use a guard. In the U.S. anyway.
Yeah. One said open razor. But yeah, I like your analogy of like texturizer shear to guard, because sometimes I like to cut like a blunt line with a texturizer shear, so it gives like more of a softer finish.
Definitely. Okay, Robert, get your hands in there and move it around a little bit for me. He's like, ha ha ha.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want those bangs shorter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And a little bit there.
it's like that.
Okay, yeah.
And
See,
then-
okay, so this is what I love to do. I always have my clients get their hands in the hair because they will show you. You listen with your eyes in this instance. And yeah, get rid of some of that. Yeah, and a little bit of
And
that
then
corner
the
right
two
there.
earbuds,
Yep.
yeah.
But it's looking good, right?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I can see that right there.
Oh.
That needs to go. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna save that for last. I'm gonna get in here. And let's take a look at what's happening. Right there.
So when he was grabbing that area above the ears, what did that translate? Like that?
It translates to weight and length.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little bit too one length right there.
Yep.
And I could see it immediately.
Like it was a little heavy for him.
Yeah. So I'm just going in and removing a little bit of weight and basically underneath that parietal ridge. And then we'll see if that takes care of it. It's like you guys don't have anything better to do than hang out with me on, what is it, a Sunday evening?
Right.
And watch hair getting done.
Well, and sometimes too, don't you think when people ask for like shag cuts, you almost want to ask them like, how shaggy are you wanting this? Because some people think they want a shag cut and you can take it completely shaggy or just partial shaggy, and
Yeah,
you got to be careful sometimes.
a little more still, right? You want that a little bit more. Yeah, we got to get it. Did anybody else see this ring? Look at this ring. What is that from, Robert?
6 years of the Ice Capade.
Isn't that crazy?
I love that.
Yeah.
Where I had to have short hair for that.
You had to have short hair in that? Okay, so he's like going repeatedly back here, and we're gonna remove a little bit more. It's always easier to take a little bit more hair off than it is to put it back on, especially when someone is coming from that strong of a shape, you know, when it's that long. So I'm gonna get a little bit more in front here. I'm gonna take this and bring it in.
Shag with the front corner heavy reminds me of like young Rolling Stones pictures.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's what I'm saying. There's so many different, especially nowadays, there's so many different types of shags.
Oh, your hair is wonderful.
I know.
Okay,
Did anyone
so
else
does
know
that-
Robert
right there,
was
Robert,
doing
does
this?
that feel better?
Chopping his
Okay.
hair off
Does that
tonight?
work? Sorry, babe.
Yeah.
It's not even shorter than that? Because it can. I mean, it's not no problem.
Like I said, with that void there, you know, like I said.
Do you want to leave it and play
I
with
think-
it?
yeah, I don't want to end up doing that. I'd rather have
You'd rather have some of that in
Yeah.
there. Okay.
side bang fill in.
Yeah. Give me a side bang, please. Hey.
I need the fill in.
The feeling. We're getting a close up.
We're getting it. And I always think that when you're working, changing a look like this, it's a team effort. And I'm never offended by somebody saying, "Oh, you know, take that a little bit shorter," or you know, it's you gotta work on it together.
Especially if people try to do it at home.
Okay, play with that a little.
Oh yeah, you got the shake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See, now you could hear his voice too. The change in the voice.
Yep.
Because it's always like, oh yeah, that's good. If somebody ever says it's fine, it's not fine.
Yeah, or yeah, I think I think that's good.
no, you're like,
you know,
okay,
when they
yeah.
say that, they usually want a little more of something.
Yep. And I was like, okay, what would make it? It's good. What would make it awesome? What would make it incredible for you?
When you're right, especially when somebody's doing a big change like this, you don't want them to think,
It's okay.
Cuddy's remorse.
yeah, that's true.
Yep. Get a little bit more water on here.
Well, even when I do like color, I feel like I always tell my clients, like, if you don't like the tone of something, you need to tell me, because a lot of things with hair are super fixable,
Yep.
but a lot of clients are just scared to even like tell you those things because they think, oh my God,
They're gonna
they
hurt our
can't fix
feelings.
this. Yeah. Or they
Or-
are going to hurt our feelings.
The only things that hurt our feelings are like when you don't come back.
Exactly. That's exactly what I tell my clients. I would be more hurt if you never came back.
Yeah, I would love to know what I can do to fix it or make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I have to get in on this side and remove a little bit of that weight as well. Oh, yeah. Okay, so what's happening now that's a little bit more, that's different from where I started is my partings are more vertical. So whenever you're working with partings, the closer you get to horizontal, so the more you move into, like from a vertical, I'll do it on this side. The more you move from a vertical into a diagonal, eventually you end up horizontal. Whenever your partings are horizontal, your shape will be heavier. Whenever they're more vertical, your shape sits up higher. So you can really change your whole look just by the way that you are using your partings. Just coming in, removing a little bit more of that weight, elevating maybe just a touch higher. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, you're such a handsome man. Okay, I gotta get my hands in there. I've worked from side to side, I don't know where I'm at. Does it feel good? Okay, I've got just a little bit of a corner.
Yeah, it already looks so good, Robert.
Hallelujah, I feel free.
Are free. Okay. All right, so we will probably, I'm going to have Robert get his hands in here again in just a minute. And then probably, maybe I'll snap some pictures of Robert. We'll get like a little
Yeah, I like how this is
Go on.
all sitting.
Yeah, it's
I like
pretty,
the
isn't
scoop
it?
out at the bottom.
That's the Christmas tree. It's got to kick out. The Christmas tree's got to kick
See,
out.
and my curly clients are like, don't give me a Christmas tree. But I
Yeah.
get what your Christmas tree means to you.
Yep.
Oh, it's still happening.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Just me checking in, Robert Brown.
Okay, go ahead and get your hands in there a little bit, Robert, and watch this. Let's see. Let's watch him. And play. Like move anything. Like
Oh, wow.
there's that Robert Brown flip.
Hashtag still
That's still
flippable.
longer over here, isn't it? Yeah, it's that little guy. This guy's over here. It's
Yeah, I like all
awesome.
that, yeah.
Yeah. Give me,
It's just
give me.
right there.
There we go. It's like, give it to me. I got this thing. Okay, let me see where it is actually. Yeah. Just a little bit heavy. Let's get rid of a little bit more of that corner.
Well, and did you say that you found that one of his sides was more dense than the other?
I didn't, but this side does feel a little bit more dense.
Because I get that a lot with like my curly cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes, especially with like density of curl pattern, like
Yeah.
it can cause different expansion in the hair when you're cutting. So I think sometimes coming back and reevaluating it, because even if you do the same elevations on both sides and
Yeah, it
same
could be
cutting,
completely
it could
different.
still
Yeah.
expand differently when you're playing with it.
So I don't know about you, but I've had questions from clients all the time that say to me that when they're sleeping, if they sleep on a certain side all the time, that changes the density in that area. Do you feel that that's ever true?
I don't know that it would change density because that comes from the
Right,
scalp.
yeah.
Feel that again. Does it still need more? Density comes from the scalp, but
I think that's a
definitely-
psyche thing.
Yeah.
I think
And
people
you
think that.
Yeah.
I've had a
Do
lady
you
tell
think
me her
that?
hair was jacked up because her mama shampooed her with soap when she was a kid.
Well,
There's still a little touch somewhere
it's
like
just-
right in.
Uh,
Both of them, right
I
there.
think so, yeah.
What about underneath that? Wait, I feel like there's still a little, like right
Yeah,
there.
you could go down
Get
the
it.
line. To
I'm going
just-
going down the line.
just-
Getting it.
I feel dizzy. It's so good.
Oh, that's awesome. Feel dizzy.
Of course, my hair follicles are probably, what?
You're like, what's happening? What did you do? I'm going to switch right now to my cards. Slide if I got them in here. No? Hang on. Play with your hair more. play with that. No? Here.
See, it's like, it's been so like this, it doesn't, it's freaking me out.
Mhm.
What do I
It's
do?
freaking out.
What do I do?
Okay, so I'm switching to my carven slides. So these are traditionally like a dry cutting scissor, but I use them a lot on curly hair. I use them for people that don't like razor cuts. And I love how they move through the hair. So I can just come in and the hair actually pushes as you're working. So it's a really nice,
because of the shape of the blade.
yeah,
right?
because of the shape of the blade. So you kind of cut and then lift away and it just pushes that hair out of the way. And Robert specifically said he doesn't really love a lot of texture with the razor on the top. So I wanted to switch away from the razor, but I feel like it still is a little bit heavy in through that top area. So
I think it just, when you run your hands to it, it makes it feel like you're balding.
with the razor.
You know, like, you know, it's just the cut, but you're like, ooh, is it sheer?
There's quite a bit of hair right in this, the parietal ridge area right here. So kind of just,
My head's like a ball.
it's like a ball. Okay. Yeah, I think
These
that's
kind
even
of
better.
big head brown. It's cool.
Big head brown.
Big head brown.
Okay, back in at that parietal ridge. So a lot of what I do is very, very technical. And even right now, even though it's like I'm coming through and it looks like it's very, very freehand and not structured, everything has an elevation, everything has a distribution or the way that you're combing the hair, working on a specific side of the hair to create a push or a pull type of pattern. Everything needs to have a a reason.
A rhyme to reason.
A rhyme to the
Yep.
reason.
I always
Yeah.
say that too when teaching.
A rhyme to the reason. I like that. Are you doing good, Robert?
Yes.
All right.
You always find it, but you know.
Find it. Get it. Get it. Okay, get your hands in there. I love this laugh.
I know.
It just feels. It's good to be home.
Right.
I feel like I need to freehand slice through this just a little bit, like elevate it and slice through it.
Yeah, I think it's just.
I feel.
I was gonna say this side
Still
looks really
is-
good from this
It
angle.
still is just a touch.
I like that.
Okay, more like that. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Let's do a little bit of I think, creating a couple of those pieces.
That's the anime part of it.
Yeah, the anime. He wanted anime.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, anime haircuts are definitely razor cuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and see that's better, and that's got
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
and I
yeah.
want to do just a little bit of touch of slicing.
The shears you're using now, Sama, or what?
Mhm. These are my carbon slides.
Okay, so what? So tell me more about them.
They are designed originally, I think, for more dry hair cutting, but I love them on wet because they push the hair as you're cutting, so you don't. It's really hard to get a straight line out of them, which is great when you don't want a straight line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny to watch people try to cut like a blunt haircut with a
With these,
curved shear.
My beard looks bigger.
Yeah.
your beard looks bigger. Oh, you need me. Gotcha.
Your beard does
Beard
look
trim
bigger
next.
now.
I think it just shot out.
It's growing as we speak.
Okay, one more time. Get in there.
Yeah, I could.
That
yeah,
feeling
see
better?
it. Yeah.
There's still some hair right here. Get it. Just get it. Okay,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, that's
That one.
just. I think that's that weird texture here from behind the ear.
And I do think a lot.
These are enough.
I know, right? I think a lot of people are scared to, like you were talking about, like do this part where you're like, get your hands in there and to have them do it like multiple times because the client is the one who's going to feel their hair the most and they know what's going to bother
going.
them.
Does that need it too over there? A little bit? Robert's gonna get in there, he's gonna cut his own hair. if I don't do that.
No, no, I think my hair's just kind of sorting itself back out. Yeah.
I've missed my Robert.
Oh, hallelujah.
Someone said it looks like it's going to dry so well naturally.
'Cause
It
that's
just
all-
has that natural texture now.
Yeah,
like
it's got a great texture.
Yeah.
This
And
one's
then
done.
they said if you were to use product to style it, what would
This
you
is
use?
very Rolling Stone, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What product would I use? I would use something like maybe a little bit of molding paste, just a really small amount would be great.
What is the KMS paste that?
The Conscious Style paste, the new
Yeah,
one.
that one. There's another one too that I really like to use, and I can't remember what it's called
I
right
would
now.
probably
Molding?
use Rough Man.
Rough Man from Goldwell is awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's me, Rough Man.
Rough Man.
Rough man, especially with that beard now.
that's nice.
Yep. I'll stand next to you on stage.
Ah.
I'm getting. This is why I don't cut men's hair because I get hair envy. So I don't.
really?
I don't know how you women do it. I'm always like,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We're almost there. Okay, what do you want me to do with the? Do you want me to just like kind of edge this out a little
Yeah,
bit
like-
here?
if it's back, if it's just the messy
Yeah, just the
stuff,
clean.
I try to have illusion of a jaw, so a corner,
A little corner there.
and then I'll do my thing at home. I just wanna.
This shape does look really good on you.
I'm just cleaning up right around his ears. And I usually don't like to go in and cut a straight line around the ears. That many times I'll pop over and I use my 42 texturizers and use that instead because it gives a grown out softer line.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just really good. I'm really happy with this. I hope you're happy, Robert.
Me too.
Okay.
Well, and this is going to grow out really nicely too.
Yeah.
Do you find these textured shapes keep the same look, just a longer grown out process of it?
Yeah, the only thing that'll start happening, and Robert always kind of will get in there and trim his own hair quite a bit because he knows what he's doing, is that this will get top heavy. Like it'll mushroom out a little bit as it grows out.
Yeah.
I'm so happy, Robert. This makes me so happy.
Me happy as a lard.
And it doesn't look shorn. There's one thing he was like, I don't want to look like I'm just like freshly cut.
Mm-mm.
So.
We just call that court date.
Court date? Yeah.
Those you got your hair cut because you had to go. But office.
The court date cut.
And so you can see how that's just a little bit softer version of instead of cutting it completely off.
That way when it does grow in around the ear, it's not harsh. It's just a little bit feathered, right?
Yep. And then let's
That's
get
nice.
this
Cute.
spot. Okay, well, you guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this razor shaggy Lisa Rinna cut that we did on Robert. I think you're going to be doing a little color later on too.
I think you need to come up with a male Lisa Renna name for this cut.
Rinna.
Morena.
Morena.
Mr. Renna.
Mr. Rinna.
I don't have the lips though.
Yeah, give us a purse.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, Robert. Yes.
oh, freedom.
Love it.
Oh, son.
Get it.
Oh,
Get it.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed Robert's haircut. Give me
Thank
love.
you, sweetly. Thanks, everybody.
Beautiful.
Bye.